Hey, fight fans, Ramdeen and Black with you, getting excited about UFC 205 going down at Madison Square Garden, a 4-hour pay-per-view. Some of the biggest names in the company fighting on this historic fight card. The main event is the one I think most people will be tuning into, Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez. And what was interesting, if you watch some of the embedded stuff, you hear Ricardo Almeida, Eddie Alvarez, jiu-jitsu coach, talk about how Eddie Alvarez has been a world champion in every organization that he has been a part of. And just that mindset alone. And then you hear Eddie Alvarez talking about Conor McGregor saying, I got this guy where I want him. He's attacking my family. That's the low-hanging fruit. When somebody starts attacking your family, you know that you're dealing with somebody that you can see where you can, I guess, crack the surface and go after them because they're maybe not as mentally prepared as they need to be. You're not buying it?
I mean, these are all stories we tell ourselves.
Yeah,
you know, if somebody says something to you while you're waiting for a bus. I mean, we were talking about a friend of ours, a fighter, and his coach was saying, yeah, you know, when he's in a room, he'll be like, what's that guy looking at? And if the guy doesn't look at him, he'll be like, that guy didn't show me any respect. What's his problem? Like, these are all stories you tell yourself. You know, if it helps you to say, oh, because what playbook does it say that you should or shouldn't attack a guy's family? Our moral code, but yours is different than Sarge's behind this camera. Let me tell you, Sarge has got some crazy ideas over here. That's just, you can read whatever you want into it, but in the end...
Is it important to read into that, or is that stuff that's like, don't, you know, you're going into battle here, you're trying to get any advantage humanly possible, even if it's manufactured? Or should you just say, you know what, we'll deal with realities. What is a reality? What are the things that I can control? Everything else, throw that out the window.
100%. I mean, if you are just telling yourself stories, something happens at work, you're like, yeah, they're out to get me. If they're not out to get you, and I'll assure you they're not, they have their own stuff going on, and you have decided that in your own mind, you've created an environment of extreme negativity. That's one example. But in fighting, you're supposed to be able to just be free and not carry all of these things into the fight with you. I know instinctively we all think, oh man, if you were mad at that guy, it would be better. Oh, I'll show you. You know, but it doesn't make it better. It makes it worse. You want to be in there free of all these things. You don't want to carry the weight of any of these things.
But what's interesting is that Ariel Helwani had an interview with Conor McGregor, and he said that, you know, he talked to a kid who considers you to be a role model. And Conor is like, oh, that's really amazing. But at the same time, I can't think about that because the man standing on the other side of the cage, I'm trying to destroy that man's dream. So I can't let the idea of somebody looking up to me taint what I need to do going inside of the cage and murder somebody. So when you think about all these...
taint.
Yeah. When you think about all of these factors, you have to, the mind games and the mental aspect can be crippling to some people.
For sure. And that's why you're supposed to attempt to be free of it. The study of the martial arts is the study of oneself. You're laughing at that. But that was a little game. I wanted to test it and see if it threw you. It did for a moment, right? God. But the study of martial arts is the study of oneself. And when you study yourself, eventually you get to philosophies, personal philosophies, greater ideas. And that is where the martial artists get to. The combat sportsmen or the fighters or the athletes, they don't always get to that point. Is that a good or a bad thing? It's supposed to be no thing. You're supposed to carry no thing in there and go fight.
A lot of phenomenal fights going down. Let's take a look at our predictions for the main card. I'm going with Eddie Alvarez over Conor McGregor. I've been rooting for Eddie Alvarez. Love Conor McGregor, but there's just something about Eddie Alvarez. I think he has an it factor. I know Conor has it, but Eddie Alvarez just has this level of toughness and grit that I think we're going to see. I think this is going to be the performance that really stands out when it comes to his entire career.
I would love that for Eddie the man and for Eddie the athlete and for Eddie and his body of work. I just think McGregor's too high level of a technology. He's evolved too far. Having said that, and looking at our faces and our names and a list of things, we tell you all the time, predictions are a television mechanism to create conversation. There is no ability to predict fights. Chaos theory states that everything leads to everything else. If we understand the butterfly effect, the wings of a butterfly can create a tornado on the other side of the world. That is true of everything you've done in the lead up to the fight, in the moment of the fight, in the fight, a glove grab. Nobody ever picks a fight DQ by eye poke, but it happens. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So understand when people make picks On the internet, it is for entertainment purposes.
And that's what it comes down to. And when you look at these, I've been flip-flopping back and forth. Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez. Can I see Conor laying out Eddie Alvarez the same way he did to Jose Aldo? I can, but I can also see Eddie Alvarez winning a split decision over 25 minutes. Same with Chris Weidman. Is that a confident pick right there over Yoel Romero based on what we've seen throughout his career? Absolutely not. And same with Kelvin Gastelum. But there's sometimes that you feel that there's a lock based on their history, based on what you've seen from them,
and you're still wrong.
And you're still wrong. But when you look at Rocky Pennington and Miesha Tate, is that a real pick for you? When you honestly think about after 15 minutes, do you believe that Raquel Pennington will have her arm raised?
So I'm going to pick up the dice and shake it.
Yeah.
And for it to come up on Pennington, we need Tate to have had not recovered well from losing that fight. Kind of be, well, I became a champion. I made a fair bit of money. I achieved some of my things. I got this fight. Oh, wait, I'm not really prepared. That's the dice roll you're looking for in a pick like that. But every pick is like that. If people go out and they happen to make 62% picks, give them next year, they'll make 42%. It's chaos theory, brother.
Yeah, it's eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's how you got to pick in the mixed martial arts game. There are too many ways, too many factors, but we know that we'll be looking forward to UFC 205 going down Saturday night.